Okay, we're in Ezekiel, the second chapter, the second verse. Ezekiel, the second chapter, the second verse. It says, and the Spirit entered into me. The Spirit is an angel. It entered into Ezekiel when he spake unto me. See, the Spirit is speaking to him. That's how it comes into you to speak to you. And set me upon my feet, and I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel. Who are we? To a rebellious nation. Are we a rebellious nation? That have rebelled against me. That's why he hid his face from us. They and their fathers, our forefathers, that's why I said we have borne their sins. They and their fathers have transgressed against me. We broke his laws, even unto this day, very day. You know how that's written? Even unto this very day that we in today. For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. Impudent means silly and stupid. That's what he's calling us. Impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them. The Most High. Do you know the Most High like this? And thou shalt say unto them, thus say the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This was the Most High telling you. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, no matter if they hear you, if they don't want to hear you. For they are a rebellious house. Hear what he said? A rebellious house, a rebellious family, rebellious 12 tribes of Israel that's against the Most High. Yet shall know that there has been a prophet among them. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them. Say, don't be afraid of them. Neither be afraid of their words. Their words. They're going to be talking stuff. Though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dost dwell among scorpions. Man, that's how you looking at us. Briars and thorns and scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks. They'll be looking at you all crazy and speaking all kind of madness to you. Though they be a rebellious house. See? So Most High telling us about ourselves. And thou shalt speak my words unto them. That's from these precepts of this Bible. Whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. He said, but thou, son of man, Ezekiel, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. That's what talking to us. We can't be rebellious like the rest of our 2/3 of our family of the 12 tribes of Israel are rebellious. He's saying, don't be rebellious like them. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. So he gave him a roll. Ezekiel 3:2, he says, so I opened my mouth and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat and fill thy bowels with this roll that I will give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. It was in his mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, not to anyone else, but exclusively to the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech or of a hard language that they can't understand what you're saying, whose words thou cannot understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, these other nations, they would have hearkened unto thee. Hear that? If the Most High had chosen these other nations, in other words, they'd have listened to us. But the house of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Most High's chosen people, who we are, will not hearken unto thee. They won't hear you. For they will not hearken unto me. Hear that? So they won't listen to you because they won't listen to me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. See, all the house of Israel is impotent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. Your mind, the way you think, strong against whatever they're going to bring to the table. As an adamant harder than flint, have I made thy forehead. Fear them not. Why I got to keep saying fear them not? Don't fear their words. Don't fear their words and how they going to be looking at you. Because they're going to be doing those things. Say, fear them not. Neither be dismayed at their looks. See? Though they be a rebellious house. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, receive in your mind, Ezekiel, and hear with thine ears, because everybody don't hear. And go, get thee to them of the captivity. And that's where we at now, whether you want to accept it or not, in the captivity. Unto the children of thy people, who are the Israelites, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus said the Most High Power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. See? And that's what we have to do and gonna do. Understand this. So let's continue with the Most High, because he's speaking. He's been speaking all day. But do you hear him? Are you going to change? I say it all the time. Let me go ahead. Hebrews 10:31. Whoa. Wow. Hebrews 10:31. For it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, y'all. Don't get it twisted. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 15. Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha 16 and 15. It says, but it is not impossible to escape thine hand. Hear that? It says a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power, right? So what Solomon 16 to 15 says? But it is not possible to escape thine hand. Look, verse 16. For the unrighteous, that's the they created that word God, which is dog spelled backwards. So I'm gonna say unrighteous, that denied to know thee, were scourged by the strength of thine arm, with strange rains, hails, and showers were they persecuted, that they could not avoid. Number 15, but it's not possible to escape thine hand. And that's how it's going to be in these last days. They're going to tell you the same thing, that they could not avoid, and through fire were they consumed. For which is most to be wondered at. The fire had more force in the water than quenches all things, that quenches all things. For the world fighteth for the righteous. You hear that? For some time the flame was mitigated, that it might not burn up the beasts that were sent against the unrighteous. You hear that? So the fire is sent, but the beasts are okay. That the Most High sent against the unrighteous. It didn't hurt the beast. Teeth of wild beasts, the spirit of the Most High, for vengeance. But themselves might see and perceive that they were persecuted with the judgment of the Most High. At another time it burneth even in the midst of water above the power of fire, that it might destroy the fruits of an unjust land. So you understand this. People not understanding who it is that this lesson is about enough, I don't think. You gotta understand and overstand. Look. Go to Ezekiel, the first chapter, and let's look at verse 27. It says, "And I saw as the color of amber, which is the brown, as the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins even upward, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward." So you got fire from his loins upward and fire from his loins downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, that rainbow. So was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Most High. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, as I heard a voice of one that spake. Since we're in Ezekiel, go to Ezekiel. And we talking about the Most High power of Abraham, the Most High power of Isaac, and the Most High power of Jacob. Go to Ezekiel. The 21st chapter, and we're going to read 31st verse. It says, "I will pour out mine indignation upon thee. I will blow against thee in the fire of my wrath, and deliver thee into the hand of beauteous men, and skillful to destroy." This is what he warned us of before we came into the hands of these people. "Thou shalt be fuel for the fire." You hear this? "Thou shalt be fuel to the fire. Thy blood shall be in the midst of the land. Thou shalt be no more remembered. For I, the Most High, have spoken it." You see? So now, when you look at "thou shalt be no more remembered," remember it said that he used the nations to take the name of Israel out of existence. Go to Deuteronomy. See, there also be no more in remembrance. Most High told us this is long before we didn't know who was Israel, because we knew it was Israel until the Greeks came into power and they told us because it was against the law, be put to death to call yourself an Israelite. But go to Deuteronomy 32 and 26. "Thus said the Most High, I said," and he did say, the Most High did say, "I will scatter them into corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men." That's why he used these nations to do it. "However, the Most High, his ways and thoughts are not our ways and thoughts, but he said, I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men." See? And he used those nations, the enemies and the haters of the Most High, and the haters and the enemies of the Israelites, to do it, as is written in Psalms 83rd chapter. Ezekiel 22 and 21. That's the spirit. Wow. All praise the Most High about Shom Mashakel Shah. Ezekiel 22 and 21. Something whenever the pages just go right to where you supposed to go next. Ezekiel 22 and 20. As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin in the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it. Like you say, gonna blow on that fire? To blow the fire upon it. So when you blow it, you have a furnace and you put air in it, you blow in that air in it, it gets hotter and hotter. To blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. So hopefully it's not any of us that's hearing this message, but it could be some of us. But he said, he gonna leave you there and melt you. Yeah, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. That's fire. That's hot as you can imagine. Hotter than you can imagine. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace. You ever seen those foundries where they be melting metals and just be liquid? And they pour it out, be liquid. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof. And ye shall know that I, the Most High Power, have poured out my fury upon you. Just warning. Go to Numbers, the 16th chapter. Numbers, the 16th chapter. Go start at verse 1. Read this story. Read a little bit of our history, our story. Now Korah, the son of Ishar, the son of Holhath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab and On, the son of Peluth, sons of Jerubbaal, took men, and they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown, they known amongst the nation of Israel. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, you take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Most High is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Most High. Who put you in charge? Who put you as the head honcho in charge? That's what they're saying to him. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. Remember, is how many of them? 250 princes of the assembly, famous among the people, the children of Israel. And when Moses heard, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Most High will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even him whom he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him. This do, take your censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Most High tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Most High does choose, he shall be holy. You take too much upon you, you sons of Levi. So you think you all that, you sons of Levi. And Moses said unto Korah, hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi. Seemeth it but a small thing unto you, that the Most High power of Israel, not the power of any other nation. He named nations as his enemies and haters in Psalms 83rd chapter. I'm not going to let you forget that. So let's not talk about them. It's talking about the children of Israel, the Most High power of Israel, of the Israelites, have separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Most High, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. Let them know. Because the Levites were the priests that's supposed to teach all the rest of the nations. And he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee. And seek ye the priesthood also? For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Most High. And what is Aaron, that ye murmur against him? Who is Aaron, that you murmur against my brother? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. So he called for them. They said, we ain't coming, we ain't listening to what you got to say, man. We ain't coming up there. We ain't coming where you at. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of a land that floweth with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us? So they like, hey, we'd rather be in Egypt than to be out here in the wilderness. And you gonna think you're gonna be over us? The Most High said, go to Numbers 12 and 12. Numbers 12. Numbers the 12th chapter. Show you how the Most High felt about Moses. Because Miriam and Aaron was talking against Moses. And Most High said this. To Miriam and Moses. He said, they was like, hey, the Most High dealing with us just like he dealing with Moses. And the Most High heard that. So Numbers 12 and 5 said, the Most High came down in the pillar of a cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, and I'm saying this because in the spirit, you got 250 men against Moses. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Most High, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who was faithful in all mine house. See that? Moses was very faithful. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Most High shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servants Moses? But see, these one of Korah, they ain't heard this. This is between the Most High and Miriam and Aaron and Moses, the brother and the sisters, the brothers and the sister, right? And the anger of the Most High was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam, Moses' sister, became leprous. So to look leprous, how you look? White as snow. Like the palm of your hand, like the bottom of your feet. That's leprosy. But she came white as snow. So therefore they couldn't have been, that's no big deal if she was already white. So-called white. But she was brown, chocolate. And the Most High turned her white. Leprous. You read about leprosy in Leviticus 13th chapter. You want to know about that? She became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Be white is leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my master, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Where Miriam? Miriam should be the one that's crying to Moses, right? She looking at herself, and you know she could see that she turned white as snow from being chocolate. But here, Aaron. Aaron spoke to Moses. He said, wherein we have sinned. That's very important. We have sinned. You can't get over that. You can't say that enough. We have sinned. That's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. Let her not be as one dead. Oh, so to be leprous, to be so-called white is like one dead. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried unto the Most High. That's what time he had pity. So Moses cried, looking at his sister. He cried unto the Most High, saying, heal her now, O Most High, I beseech thee, I beg of you. And the Most High said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, shall she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. See, you gotta understand, there's a lot of influence that, you know, we as men can receive from women. All the way from Eve dealing with Adam. And see, if you look at verse 1, it says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. But Miriam is first. Not Aaron then Miriam, but Miriam is first. So Aaron is, he cried to the Most High. That's the only time I'll tell you the Most High have pity. Miriam didn't. But she already white. But Most High already know how it all began. That's why it says, and Miriam and Aaron. She brought it to him. He talking to her. And Most High turned her white. And then he came back and said, I'm saying you don't know the whole conversation. But this is really deep when you look at the Most High saying this concerning Miriam. In verse 14, and the Most High said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face. I can't imagine that. Spitting in my daughter's face, and a father spitting in his daughter's face. Listen how serious this is. And the Most High said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. Because the Most High remember, Moses said, I can't speak well. And Moses said, okay, well, I'll use your brother Aaron. He'll be your mouthpiece. So Aaron was a mouthpiece. He was rolling. But see, the thing about it, it wasn't about, you hear nothing about no Ethiopian woman, because a lot of churches trying to say that Ethiopian woman brings, us as the Israelites in, but we're not from Ham, we're from Shem. So they got it twisted. You see what I'm saying? But the main thing that the Most High heard was the fact of this, verse 2. And they said, hath the Most High indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Most High heard it. That's why you got to be very careful. Because people will be the same way. They'll be like, the Most High ain't dealing with only you, he dealing with me too. And compare the same situation in our time. And the Most High not dealing with them like they're dealing with some men in this world today. And consequences are going to be the consequences. But they won't put it together. They won't be able to put it together because that pride won't allow them. Because they, like they say, Miriam saying what? I'm just as important as, she as a woman, she's just as important as Moses and Aaron. Because you see it doesn't happen to Aaron. But also when the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, Miriam, she became leprous. So that let you know that she had to be doing a whole lot of talking. That's why it behooves you to take the story and don't really look at it like it can't be you. It's about a change and about looking at where you at as far as your spirit. Because remember the Most High said, all you need is me. You don't need the devil. You don't need to be dealing with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And the woman went over there and ate of that tree of knowledge of good and evil to be as the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua in Genesis 3rd chapter. To have power, to know good and evil, and to be as gods, it says. What more you need to hear? And Adam went for it. What more you need to hear? So Miriam saying what she's saying, Aaron joined right in with her. That's why you got to know the truth. Then you make the right decisions as a man. Because women are very intelligent. Very, very intelligent. But you can't allow them to go wrong and then you follow their wrong, their unrighteousness. You got to know what's right so you can do what's right. And operate in righteousness. And don't be wicked. And show them where they're going off. Because you see what happened. It can't happen to you. It can't happen to you, huh? Think again, a whole lot of people, you see them, they call it vitiligo today, don't they? They done lost their color. Unless you know they looking like patches all over their face, white patches on their face. That's leprosy. Most High, that's why the Most High, he be saying, remember what I did to Miriam? He be reminding us. That's why you looking at what we looking at here. He tell you, and you all know that I'm the Most High. Say, remember what I did to Miriam? You just heard what he did to Miriam. And he say, hey, remember, don't forget what I did. Let's go back to Numbers 16 chapter. Let's go back to verse 12. And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, well, we will not come up. He said, he called him. He said, hey, we ain't coming to you, Moses. Say, is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land of that floweth with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us? Not only the fact of Moses done brought us out of captivity, slavery and bondage under the Egyptians. They done seen all the plagues. 10 plagues the Most High put upon the Egyptians. Ain't nothing happened to us as the Israelites. In captivity. Right? We done walked through the Red Sea on dry ground. We done seen the Most High close up the Red Sea on Pharaoh and his chariots, and their bodies laying all on the shore as we continue to go into the wilderness. We've seen all this. We've seen all the miracles that the Most High done in the wilderness, and we still murmuring. Who's gonna? I mean, Moses is the one that the Most High called to lead them out of there. They still complaining, murmuring. This is murmuring. Verse 14. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. So we will not come up. Complaining, murmuring. This is murmuring. And Moses was very wroth. He got an attitude. And said unto the Most High, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Most High, thou and they and Aaron, tomorrow. And take every man his censer, that's container that you use for incense, put incense in, and put incense in them, and bring ye before the Most High every man his censer. 250 censers. Every one of you have a censer of incense in it. 250 censers. Thou also and Aaron, each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the glory of the Most High appeared unto all the congregation. And the Most High spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation. Get away from them. He said, separate yourself. Get away from this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. Say, get away from them so I can consume all of them in a moment. Poof. Remember, he's fire from his waist up and fire from his waist down. And the Most High speaking to Moses, saying, speaking to the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, the Dathan and Abiram. And Moses rose up and went into Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, don't take nothing that they have, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out, and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, hereby ye shall know that the Most High has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. He said, I ain't done this on my own mind. Remember, he said, verse 15, and Moses was very wroth, and said unto the Most High, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. See? Verse 28, and Moses said, hereby ye shall know that the Most High have sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. He said, Most High sent me to do this. I have not done it of my own mind. This is not something that's on my mind to do. Because remember, he said he didn't want to do it. He said, I don't even speak right. I stutter. I got a speech problem. I said, that's all right. I still choose you. I'm going to use your brother Aaron to speak for you. Verse 30. Wait a minute. Verse 29. If these men die, the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Most High have not sent me. Hear what he's saying. If these men die, the common death of all men, they just die on their own. Or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Most High have not sent me. But if the Most High make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth, the earth open up, and swallow them up, with all that appertaineth unto them, everything they have, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Most High. See, that's why I say people look at the Most High and they done create their own power, and not knowing that it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power. You heard what he said. And it came to pass, verse 31, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up in their houses, and all the men that were appertaining unto Korah, and all their goods, everything they own, swallowed them up. The earth opened up and swallowed a lot big enough to swallow up their houses and everything that they own. And all the men that appertain unto Korah, and all their goods, everything they have. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them. The earth opened up, and everything they had went into the earth, down into this pit, then closed up. And the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. Finished. Through. Dead. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them. For they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. You know how we are. They out of it. They see that the earth opened up and everything they had went in the earth, and they closed them back up. And you can still hear they cry before they died. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them. For they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. And there came out a fire from the Most High and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. There came out a fire from the Most High. Remember, he's fire from his waist up and fire from his waist down. See, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power. But see, people don't fear the Most High. This should make you afraid of him. Make you scared of him. And there came out a fire from the Most High and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. Can you imagine that? Seeing the Israelites seeing 200 men on fire, burning up from the power of the Most High. Whew. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hollow. The censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make them broad plates for the covering of the altar. For they offered them before the Most High, therefore they are hollow. And they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. And Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers wherewith they that were burnt had offered, and they were made broad plates for a covering of the altar, and to be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron, the Levite, come near to offer incense before the Most High, that he be not as Korah and as his company, as the Most High said to him by the hand of Moses. But on the morrow, all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, Ye have killed the people of the Most High. It came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Most High appeared. Here come Mashiach Yahushua again, as an angel of the Most High, representing the Most High. Uh-oh. No, that probably hit some of y'all real hard, especially you Old Testament cats. Let's go to St. John 17:5. Mashiach Yahushua is praying before he left out of this earth. He said, And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. So, because ain't nobody ever, look, since we in John, go to John 1:18, ain't nobody ever seen the Most High. How you going to approach the Most High, flesh and blood going to approach the Most High? You out of your mind. St. John 1:18. No man has seen the Most High at any time. You hear that? Ain't nobody ever seen the Most High at any time. The only begotten Son, who is Mashiach Yahushua, which is in the bosom of the Father, he have declared him. He the word of the Most High. He have declared him. Better understand and understand this. Ain't nobody seen the Most High. Flesh and blood cannot approach before the Most High. I mean, just the brightness, his brightness is too much. It's too much. It's too much to behold. That's why we got to make that change. Mashiach going to teach us for 1,000 years, then we're going to make that change. So you see what happened to the people of Korah. Oh, you're going to speak against the Most High's appointed servant, Moses? Miriam did. He turned her leprosy, gave her leprosy, turned her straight white. Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, and look at verse 12. For man also knoweth not his time. You don't know the time that you're going to depart out of this world. As the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. See? You don't know. And it's an evil time right now. That's why the Most High says Zephaniah 3 and 5. Zephaniah 3 and 5. It's an evil time now. All the things that's going on right now, ain't no way you can bring righteousness into what you see happening right now. The Most High getting people out of here. He's taking people out of this world. Almost every day, it seems like. Zephaniah 3 and 5. The just Most High is in the midst thereof. The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. So whatever he do is not evil. It's not wicked. He will not do iniquity. Every morning does he bring his judgment to light. So every morning he going to bring his judgment to light. So whatever morning it is that men don't know their time, or women, or children, Every morning, he bring that judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. See, the unjust, they're not going to listen. They're going to try and know of the Most High. Is this your God? Or you got some other God that you believe in? Because we're reading about him. He said, I have cut off the nations. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none passes by. Ain't nobody going to be going in their streets. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabited. I said, surely thou wilt fear me. Thou will receive instruction. You're going to do what I say do. I'm going to tell you what to do. So their dwelling should not be cut off. Howsoever, I punished them. But they rose early and corrupted all their doings. He punished us. But we rose early and became what? Rebellious, as he said. Therefore, wait ye upon me, said the Most High, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. He's going to gather all these nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, all these kingdoms that we in, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Now we've seen that he's fire from the waist up. He already said he's going to melt you. And you know that his name is jealous. Isaiah 55, verse 10 and 11. Isaiah 55, verse 10 and 11. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, how the rain and the snow come down, and it don't go back up. When it come down, it's coming down on the ground. But watereth the earth, it maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. You've heard it all day long, or all night long, whenever you listen to this lesson. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. You know what he says. That's why Israel, when you understand what the Most High did to us, and go to Jeremiah. Hello. Bear with me a second. Look at Jeremiah 25 and 29. He said, for lo, I begin to bring evil on this city, only because there's evil in the city, which is called by my name, Yerushalayim. And should ye be utterly unpunished? He said, I'm going to do this. Should you be utterly unpunished? You should not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, said the Most High Power of hosts. Verse 31, a noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. This is what we at now, y'all, the last days. For the Most High have a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, said the Most High. You want to be wicked? He going to give you to the sword. Thus said the Most High, power of hosts, power of armies, power of angels. Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind, like a tornado, like a hurricane, shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. We got many coasts of the earth. That's why I was telling you earlier, in the spirit. He could do anything he want to do. Oh, a hurricane can't come here. A tidal wave can't. Man, he said, you hear what he said? Thus said the Most High, power of hosts, power of armies, power of angels. Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. And the slain of the Most High shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. I'll read you again. And the slain of the Most High shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented. Ain't nobody gonna be crying. There's gonna be so many that's dying. Like we see people dying now. He says, hey, ain't nobody gonna be crying. Neither gathered. They ain't gonna be able to be gathered for no funerals, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. They're gonna be just like doo-doo on the ground. Just melt away into the ground. Howl, you shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes. This is humility. Crying to the Most High behind what we see is getting ready to happen. The principle of the flock. Leaders. He telling you to do this. For the days of your slaughter and of your dispersions are accomplished, and ye shall fall like a pleasant vessel. And the shepherds shall have no way to flee. These preachers and so forth ain't gonna have nowhere to flee, nor the principle of the flock to escape. It's a voice of the cry of the shepherds. These are leaders, so-called pastors, that's over the congregation of the Israelites, in falsehood, and in howling of the principle of the flock shall be heard, for the Most High has spoiled their pasture. And the peaceable habitations are cut down because of the fierce anger of the Most High. Ain't gonna be no more peace to the wicked. He hath forsaken his covert as the lion, for their land is desolate because of the fierceness of the oppressor, and because of his fierce anger. You hear that? Look over there, our land is desolate because we went off. And the only way we're going to get back on track is to come back to the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments. Come back to him, his rules and regulations. And it's not hard. It's just a matter of you want to be rebellious, as we've seen in this lesson. Most High said, Jeremiah 23:21. He said, I have not sent these prophets, yet they